assistant.
You're at the point where you can only see like 10% of your monitor and you're like squinting and moving windows and
I'm like, I guess
resizing
now
them.
it's time
That's
to
when you
go
have
through the
a
to-do list.
procrastination problem.
I will not deny that.
Let's get rolling. Just because I want to make sure that we can start and end this on a crisp timing. I am recording now, so we can post it up later for other folks who end up showing up. Let's introduce ourselves before we jump in. Steph, you want to start?
Cool. Yeah, I'm Stephanie. I am the lead producer here at Treehouse, so I handle a lot of how we work, kind of help plan what we work on and when we work on it, who works on what. I help Brian a lot figuring out what are the kind of goals and next steps for the product and what we need to be able to plan that out. I control a lot of the roadmap and when you guys get to receive the game to play it. And that's me.
What did you do before this?
Oh, I was a producer at Riot Games working on teamfight tactics and generally game modes. I worked there with Space North, Michael, pretty closely, where we got to work on a lot of really cool game mode stuff together.
Cool. Ryan, you're up next.
Cool. I'm Ryan. I'm co-founder and game director, and I do a lot of things. Right now, we're planning our big October release that I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about later. I also spend a lot of time with Steph, kind of figuring out what goes in our milestone, what we should be working on. Spend a lot of time with the design team, including Tim, one of our principal designers, who's in the audience right now. And then when I get time, I also love to jump in the game and actually work on some stuff. I think I'm going to be taking on our quest system this next milestone and working on that. So looking forward to that. Before Treehouse, I founded another indie startup called Servo. We released a game called Guildlings on Apple Arcade. It's a game about going on a magical road trip with your friends. It's very cool and still available. And before that, worked at a bunch of different on a bunch of different kind of indie projects, many of which weren't released. And before that, I actually met Michael on a college project. I was at art school at the time, and I was spending way too much on tuition and kind of hating my life. And I saw a flyer on the wall of our art school that it was the USC Games program that Michael attended, and they were looking for volunteer artists for one of their senior thesis projects. And so that sounded fun. And I went and worked on that, and I actually liked it so much that I ended up dropping out of that art school and then just got hired after that. And so it was kind of my start in the industry, and Michael and I go way back. So it's awesome to work with him again.
And I'm Michael. So I'm the other co-founder. I'm the CEO for the company. Like Ryan mentioned, we met all the way back in college days, working on student game projects to get into the industry. That was a long time ago at this point. I spent a long time working at Riot with Steph. I worked on skins, champions, seasonal updates for our competitive scene for League of Legends. Worked on teamfight tactics with Steph before starting Treehouse with Ryan in 2020. So like, what's the purpose behind Treehouse? Like, what's the reason the company exists? Like the same way that Ryan and I stayed in touch for many years, we played games together. I have a brother who's like 10 years older than me. Games have always been like that one thing we always had in common, even when he was like, having a kid and I was just getting out of college and stuff like that. So games have always been like a really important part of how we've stayed in touch with people. And having come from some of the games we've worked on where we've like, helped players engage in brutal, ruthless combat, we wanted to work on games that were all about bringing people together, right? Creating worlds for friends to get lost in together, creating things that are like the best adventures you can go on and things that you can talk about like years and years after the fact. Like that was the dream. And that was like before the pandemic. So the pandemic hit, and then it was just like, oh shit, like the whole world is going to go through this now. The whole world is going to experience that and sort of feel like what that's like, which is, obviously it was like kind of rough, but it's also really fun to sort of see like games do that for people, right? To offer a way to like stay in touch and stuff like that. So like, I think this is like some bias that we kind of take into here, having worked on like League of Legends in particular, where player feedback is always like super front of mind, and it's always like this sort of broad belief of like, look, like we'll really know the truth of this when players tell us, and that's sort of like a bias that we carried in really early. And so we've been doing more and more playtests this year, and wanted to start doing some other like tools. We want to bring in other tools to be able to talk directly with people. And then I brought up the idea of doing like a dev stream, because so many games do dev streams, and it sounded like something people would be into. So here we are. The Warframe devs, like, I know it came up in the channel earlier, but there's like this great like phrase they had for their really chill dev streams, which is like low effort, high heart. I broadly want there to be like minimum layers between like the thing we're working on and like what we can talk about, and that's kind of a huge perk of being at a little company. So yeah, like this dev stream is not going to be super fancy. It's not going to be polished. I kind of want it to feel kind of chill, and for us to just run through stuff that we're working on, and for there to be like bugs that just take the whole game down, and we're like, oh crap, like, well, we'll have to like come back next week. So that's sort of the hope, because that's kind of how we want to interact with people for the games that we love most, when we're talking with people, and when we're playing games in early access. Open the game to early access. We are planning to release the game to early access. Good news for you, because that is 100% our plan, and also I think just like such a natural fit with survival crafting. Okay, so real quick. Stream ground rules, expectations. Like, we want to get practice also just exposing stuff and putting stuff out there so we can get feedback as early as possible. You're gonna 100% see bugs left, right, and center. Our game will probably crash, and not just this time, but if this goes well, then we want to do this on like a more often basis, and you're probably gonna see like tons of bugs and crashes. I also want to keep it to like this hour between here and like 6 Pacific, just so that we can sort of keep it focused, make sure that there's like useful stuff to talk about, and it's not just like filling time, and also so it's not just like overwhelming amounts of time away from like working on the game. And then like we'll just keep improving it, right? I also want to learn more about what it is you guys want to hear about, whether it's stuff related to the game, or frankly stuff that's outside of the game too. A lot of like our smaller playtests, we've just talked a lot about like, hey, how are we seeing the industry right now? Like our experiences in game dev, and I think that's totally legit too. And we've got a pretty varied team, so I hope to like, grab other folks from the team when it's like, oh, we want to talk about like art direction, cool. Like, hey, Mitch, what's going on? Or Tim, if we want to talk about combat and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the thing that we could probably just start talking about is related to the game, right? We've been playtesting, I think like maybe like every 2 weeks for the last 2 months or so now. We've been playtesting quite a bit. We actually had our biggest playtest to date, with about 30 people just 2 weeks ago. And I see a number of familiar faces in the chat who are all there. And thank you, because that was the biggest single dose of feedback we've gotten, full stop, period. Legit, I think like people put over like 100 hours of game time into the game over that weekend. We got like 20 hours of footage that I was like feverishly editing down to like these 20-minute sort of highlight reels and like attached to feedback surveys. It was a ton of really useful feedback. So thank you. I hope you'll spot some things related to some of that feedback in the build we're gonna pull up really shortly, actually. And it also is ChuPickleChu. Yeah, ChuPickleChu made this super dope house that I'm gonna show you guys after we're in the build for a little bit, so you guys have a little reference for like what work this takes. I made a little montage that I'll then also post into the channel, just in case the frame rate's not amazing. But yeah, so the playtest gave us a ton of feedback to consume. We've been working through it and just knocking down a bunch of the low-hanging fruit. It's also been really helpful for us planning a lot of what we're gonna do over the next like 3 months and beyond. Like some of the TLDR of stuff that sort of popped out at us is like, hey, even Seafaring in its like kind of simple form, I think right now, People are getting very excited to go out on trips on the ship. Totally something that you want out of seeing like what's on our Steam page and stuff. There are also a number of sort of like magical spirits to encounter. That ended up being like kind of a highlight pretty consistently across our groups. So those are both elements that we want to focus way more time and effort and like polish into. So those things can be really felt in game. We also saw a lot of consistent trends of like friction with how death worked, with how harsh like food and hunger was, wanting to be able to craft and build kind of more freely. And there's some updates we can sort of share there. And then also just like tons of stuff just sort of like hitting your shins of UI and inventory being rough. And we've been making some improvements there too. But yeah, right now, like in the broader scope of development, we are still working on that core loop, right? We are still focused on being like, cool, you appear in the game and your first couple hours kind of take you through like the whole structure of the game and you get it and you're excited about it and you like saw this thing that you hoped for off the Steam page and oh shit, like it's coming true. And for that to sort of propel you being into like the goals that you have next in the game, we are still in the mad science zone of building that out and iterating and iterating. And like the playtest that we're going to keep sort of doing over the coming months, especially as we do it more frequently and try to broaden out who can playtest, is still going to be focused on like the first couple hours of the game. So this feedback has been dead on nailed toward helping us make that better. So thank you guys. Let's. And am I missing anything, Ryan? Should we, Steph? Should we just
No.
jump into the game?
Let's jump on in. I think I'll need a screen sharing permission. It's grayed out for me currently.
Oh.
But I've already connected to your server.
Which I totally know how to do.
Steph, I think we need help.
Oh no.
See, this is what I get for not watching the video Meepy linked me.
Might be a permissions thing.
Okay, you know what? Until we figure that out here, I'm going to turn off my camera so that for bandwidth purposes and I can stream.
Okay.
And then let me launch the game.
It'll be better next time.
Nope, it's going to be just as jank as right now. Okay, let me share my screen. And then I'm going to need folks to tell me if they can actually see this. Can y'all see that? Yeah, Nico, I'm sorry to tell you, we're professional game devs, but not professional streamers. The last time I was on video was for like some extremely high budget professional camera, like behind the scenes documentary where I was like, oh my god, this video like cost more than like the whole marketing budget for a game now. Let's see. Oh. Wait, were you connected to my server, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm in the lighthouse.
Wait, is that on Steph's server?
Oh, maybe. Let's see.
Well, that's
actually,
good enough for me.
Jump on in.
All right. Oh, wait. Huh, no one look. All right, we got to start. We got to start where it's in so this is appearing into the game. This is Voyagers of Nera. For some of you who playtested, you know that we started in this dark cave. We've since made that space a little bit cooler with this sort of like shrine you appear into. And when you come out and emerge from this shrine, you can look up and see that you're actually in the base of this huge lighthouse in this ocean world. And when you look out, just barely in the shadow, you can sort of see another lighthouse over there.
A little hard to see at night. You should make it daytime with the time of day cheat.
But then it's not going to rotate freely.
That's true.
Steph, how long has it
Our
been
time of
nighttime?
day now is really long, as those of you experienced in the playtest. So you're stuck in nighttime for a while.
Let me bring my light out. Our little spirit buddy. But yeah, so this is sort of the first look at for who here has not seen any sort of gameplay footage in Engine. Uh, uh, I think at least a handful of folks.
Yeah, I think we may ship with the sit walk. It's too good.
Leaks, I don't know what you said.
Well,
I don't see any message.
I think I might have crashed the server.
You crashed the server. What did you do?
Logged in.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
yep.
That
I see
happens
it.
sometimes.
I see it.
Oops.
All right. So first crash out the gate.
Yay.
We're getting warmed up.
I will launch another one, but I won't connect this time. That should be good for you.
You should be able to connect, right?
I don't know. It didn't work that time. I'm scared.
Theoretically.
Just go for it. It's not like we've gotten very far.
Okay.
And yeah, Steph, unfortunately, I can't share yet. We'll figure that out next time.
Weird.
I know I've given myself all the roles, literally all the roles. I'm an elder, a steward, a navigator, a creator,
You probably
a
need to be an admin of
beastmaster.
some sort,
He's
which I'm
also an admin.
surprised if you're
I'm
not.
also an
Hey,
admin.
and now it's daytime. Hell yeah. Okay. You can take a closer
Yep,
look
I'm in
inside
too.
the shrine. How's the frame rate, by the way? Like the stream quality?
I think you may have stopped sharing
Oh, it's
Oh.
because
when
I
you
closed the
rejoined.
app. That's
Yeah.
right. You're just sitting here looking at Ryan's face.
Oh, it's
Okay.
daytime now.
Yep.
Can see the vista.
Where's Meepy at? This is all your turtle dreams. Thanks, Nico. Very safe and correct of you. But yeah, so this is sort of the opening to the game. You can see sort of out there in the distance some islands that we might want to visit in the future once we can get out there, and the sort of space around us, and some of the world already of seeing some ruins that you'll learn more about and sort of are related to sort of like how this world came to be. And here we are in the base of this like giant lighthouse that you can see from a million miles away. But yeah, let's go ahead and start exploring.
I dove off the cliff.
Looks like Steph's already been building a little bit. You can see us swimming around. You can dive underneath the water. You can pick up some resources from underneath the waves. Oop. But we are also, we are a survival crafting game at the end of the day, which means that running around and vacuuming up resources is still very much part of the experience. So here we are getting stone, getting wood, getting some plant fiber that we'll need to make things. Steph used to have the best builds until ChuPickleChu has unseated her, uncrowned her. But you'll see in a bit.
We need to have a building contest at some point.
Yeah. So this is the starting biome. A lot of it sort of in a lot of the kind of like tropical island life kind of theme that you've probably seen from some of our videos online. And this literally we built so that we could take the screenshot that we put up on Twitter earlier today. But Steph has a house actually over this hill, This cozy little home, just getting started. Arranging a little furniture outside.
Welcome to my MTV cribs.
Nice doorway.
Thank you.
I like your outdoor lawn furniture.
Oh.
Though it was secretly because we were trying to compare all the furniture pieces' sizes to the character model in the playtest. But it is cute.
What did you find? Were there any outliers?
Yes.
This bed is very small.
Yeah, the bed
my
is
God.
for our future children, generations.
Oh yeah, this bed is baby.
The tables are pretty good. The side table would be good if the bed was good. Maybe.
In the version that
Really, we need a
people were
funny mode.
playtesting, we did not have these little crabs. Instead, they were just little red cubes. And now we have these little crabs that kind of leave you alone until you attack them. Early source of food. And this is our tech tree. So similar to a lot of other survival crafting games you might have played recently, like Pal World or Conan, as you level up, you gain these knowledge points that you can spend to unlock things on the tree. First thing I'm going to get are a couple of tool recipes so I can make some things too. What are you doing, Steph?
I'm just emoting aggressively.
Can make a couple tools to be able to like harvest ore and chop down trees. For previous playtesters, that full screen takeover is gone. We now also have durability on the tools themselves at the bottom, which was a huge pain in the butt for people during our last playtest of not knowing when their tool was about to break and then being in the middle of a fight and then their sword breaks. Fortunately, we have addressed that, but that was like one of the most consistent bits of feedback, and that was really helpful to see. Let's see, can show a bit of
For the next playtest, we're going to have a lot more furniture. We call them decorators, but we heard the desire for them, and so we're going to have a lot more tables and lamps and things that we've already kind of had kicking around, but weren't in that build. Right, Steph?
Oh yeah. The better I will
Steph's
cry.
kind of heading up our building catalog right now.
Hanging plants definitely, hopefully coming back.
I
love those. They're my favorite.
I do miss them.
Got a little stone.
I also really miss a lot of the outdoor plants. You could create these really awesome garden areas and gazebos.
Actually, these gray squares in front of my house are the ferns.
Nice.
They don't work.
Placeholders.
Wait, what?
They look kind of cute though.
I see the
These gray boxes.
Oh, those gray cubes.
Yeah.
They double as nice
Imagine though if
tables.
they were green. Yeah.
Clearly, we're
No changes to the model, just green.
we need to be more creative because apparently with enough time you can make literally anything. Nice.
Can I upgrade your house, Steph?
Gotta
yeah,
have some
do it.
natural light.
Need some more windows.
We
This
do
is our
have hanging
house.
plants, actually. Believe it or not.
Oh, do we?
I mean, not in this build, but we used to.
That's true.
Let's see. I'm gonna
they look
build
very cute.
a house next to yours.
It was pretty cool. In the last playtest, we kind of just started adding some analytic events so we can see what people are doing in the playtest, even if we're not there. And one of the ones we added listed out all the different things people built. And so we were able to kind of go through and see what the most popular items were.
Which is really
I believe
cool.
the generic platforms won out.
So this is
That was
this is our
almost
building
all
system.
due to ChuPickleChu, probably.
Yes, yeah. Heavily tilting the stats, no doubt. But yeah, this is our build mode. So, you can see by the yellow sort of vignette and it says build mode along the bottom. When you press 1, it'll take you to all the stuff you can add, and you can pull up all the different sort of categories of things you can build. and you'll see a blueprint of them. At which point, once you put it down, anyone can go and contribute resources to it and help you build it. And then once you put down sort of these big structures, you can right-click on these little floating dots in order to see all the pieces that will successfully connect to it. In this case, a hallway, or like a really giant room, like this one. I have cheats turned on, so I can just build pretty freely at the moment. Like I can make a doorway here, and we can get a second story going over here. Oopsies. Ooh, that's wrong. So I can just switch over to 2 and click on it and delete it. Put a second story right there, and then jump for the roof. There we go. Oh, now it's real dark. Well, the build mode, the shadow's making this look crazy.
Haunted mansion.
Oh, you have the Splendor windows. Nice. I want Splendor windows.
Only the best for my server.
Yeah. But yeah, makes putting up a structure pretty quick. Definitely some flexibility for sure of also just being able to build like these squares. Will building a room not work if some of it clips through the terrain? No, you can clip to your heart's content. I don't know if that's the answer you wanted, but no, 100% you can just clip straight through the floor. And you know, there's a lot of places you can build, but if you intentionally want like a rock garden to stick up through the base of your room, you totally can. So like, let's see, this will probably look pretty weird. Like that. And
there are not currently plans for the question was, are there plans for terrain manipulation? Not currently. We definitely are going to let you add like decorator plants, rocks, maybe some other kinds of things like that that are a little bit more, modular. And we have definitely talked about the problem of like, oh, I want to put my base here, but like there's a giant rock in it. Like, what do I do? It sucks. And so I do think we're trying to figure out what we want to do there. Right now, you can raise your house actually as like one mitigation, so you can like kind of make it be on flat terrain if you want to. But any terrain stuff is kind of still a pending thing we're thinking about how to approach.
Yeah, we definitely want you to be able to build kind of outdoor areas around your house and gardens and, interesting shrines and things outside. So definitely thinking about that use case.
But yeah, I mean, at the opening of the game, right, we would just be first starting to explore the space, making our first building our first stations. Pretty quick, we'd learned that we need this repair bench where you can use to repair all of your tools. The repairs are free. And then, setting out and exploring the space. Even being a starting space, it's still fairly large, and there are enemies around. It's not just hapless crabs to stab. And you have other things that you have to start dealing with, like food and hunger and thirst, and of course getting the supplies that you want to actually progress. But right now, it's stone tools and then a lot of space to explore. And similar to some of the sort of like, where can you build and not build, trying to push toward more flexibility for that right now. But at the moment, we sort of have like a build zone that you sort of set down as like your anchor point. And then you can build within that radius, and it gives you some other protections. Down. Palm tree.
Should we try to find some enemies?
Yeah. Oh, my Discord keeps going all black, and I think it's because it's not really updating while I have my stream and all this going. Is the stream laggy for anyone? Or is it doing okay?
It looks pretty good on my end.
Okay, cool. Good. Hey, if that's all right, cool. Great. Is the gathering faster? I don't know. Did we adjust the swing speed? We did change the durability so that you are not
Yeah, your tools should break less. You should also get a lot more resources as you upgrade your tools. So
Yeah.
instead of having to chop down like 5,000 trees for your house, maybe you'll only have to do 500.
Oh, and also a lot more swings per stamina wheel. um, oh God, am I that over encumbered? Oh, how did I get this much snow? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna
It's a
litter.
lot of rock.
Yeah, I'm gonna litter. Um, clip freely key when you move the drag removes the rock. Oh, that would be cool. Night has begun. Gotta check out the sunset really quick.
Spooky.
Then the start of nighttime. Whoa. When did we add the glowy on the arm? That's so cool.
Oh, in the lighthouse, you mean?
Yeah, no, on the wrist of the golem, you can sort of see like a glowy,
Oh.
like runic pattern.
Oh, I do see a shimmer.
That's
Must have
cool.
been Kyle.
This build is literally as of like 1 p.m. today. Like, our testing of it before jumping in here was all of like 30 minutes of running around. So that's why I was giving you all my caveats about crashes. But so
Yeah.
far doing okay.
Lunaria, we are actually, this milestone, we're working on some more cool things you could do at base. So we are going to add the ability to kind of have some tasks to attend to and grow some things and get some resources. And it's actually going to be themed around these spirits that you find in the world that then come back at base and are your helpers, kind of helping you produce food and resources. There'll be a lot more reasons to kind of spend time at your base and tend to things compared to the last build.
Anyan, if I'm remembering how to say it right. Food, hunger, and thirst go down way more slowly now.
And I think they also don't go down in your homestead right
Yeah.
now.
But yeah, that was also a bit of feedback where people were like, "Man, I'm just like shoveling these coconuts into my mouth all day," and we're like, okay, maybe went a little overboard with some of that." Um, The name of this game is to jump successfully into water and not fall to my death. No problem.
That's true. Our pockets right now are very magical. They're very deep. We
Like Mary
actually, in the
Poppins.
character creator, you can put a backpack on, so we can kind of simulate that.
But if you do hit I, Michael, or that one, so
Yeah.
people can see the inventory.
Oh yes. So there
That's
is an
kind of where.
inventory here. That is, I mean, probably pretty familiar looking in terms of being able to see all your different items here. Actually, do we have? Oh man. Okay, this is another special for the people
Highly
who.
requested feature.
Yes, of being able to click and replace inventory, which seems like a very simple thing, and it wasn't insanely difficult, but there's just so much to do that you're like, oh, we can get to that later. But it was like one of the most universally annoying things during the playtest. So now you can.
They've heard the cries of the people.
Yep. I know it's simple, but getting that feedback was just like, yep, okay, severity on this is like way higher than we thought it was gonna be. All right, let's go fix that.
Do you want to change your outfit, Michael?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I got
Some of the
sidetracked.
options.
Yeah, so we have a character creator right now that we're still adding a lot to. There's a lot of parts of this that don't work at the moment, but some simple things of being able to change like some like face structure, skin tone, some different hairstyles. For a long time, everyone was a bald female in the game. That's our defaults. So it's exciting that we can actually tell people apart now in the game again. Can do a beard. And then some clothing options. So also some fun hats. Of course, this one tends to be the favorite for a lot of people. But I'm not going to wear a hat for the moment. Let's see. Wear this outfit. Legs. Maybe get some shorts. Yeah, some shorts. And then I kind of want some like, yeah, there you go, some gloves, and I want some boots. Got some boots. Ooh, yeah, that's a little big. Okay, how about that? And then because someone wanted a backpack, we can have a backpack. Was it Leaks asking for a backpack?
Yeah, to carry all our wood and sticks.
Yes, yes, for believability, for immersion. Um,
How is it still nighttime?
yeah, we need to work on that. Night
That's
feels
another thing we're
long.
working on is yeah, making it so it's daytime for a little bit longer so you can enjoy the scenery and then allowing you to skip the night when you sleep in your bedroll.
Um, Now, I don't have any arrows, but we could take the boat out for just the last couple of minutes here before we switch over to just some Q&A and stuff. And I do want to still hold the
Yeah.
time to show off the glorious creation.
Let's take the boat out on a quick joyride and maybe find some enemies.
Okay. Oops. Yeah, I like the backpack. I'm like, dude, I would buy this in real life.
I don't know if I could pull it off, but
Yeah,
I do like the
yeah,
style.
yeah. My clothing style is maybe a little straight laced.
I built a bridge and I still fell off of it.
Yeah, a great question, Anion, I believe. So we are going to keep cosmetics separate from things that enhance your stats. As you play the game, you will find new cosmetics, and you'll be able to change your character appearance at any time. We do have the concept of these things called spirit augments, which are going to be these spiritual items that you find and you can slot into your character to change your stats. So they'll make you better at gathering or crafting or moving. Those are actually part of a new spirit companion system that we're bringing online soon, where you'll have a little spiritual pet that kind of hangs on your shoulder. And depending on the augments you equip, it'll be a different elemental type. So it might be like a fire newt or like an earth wisp or like an air or water manta ray. So we really want people to be able to kind of look how they want and earn new exciting cosmetics, but then also to be able to buff themselves up and get strong through their spirit companion.
And for it to feel like it makes sense in this world, which is
Totally.
very spirit and seafaring centric.
Oh yeah, I
Pet
think
rock.
the Earth Spirit is a pet rock that then gave you a carry weight bonus would be really funny. Especially you'd have like
Yes.
painted on eyes.
Leaks. I just saw your note. Expecting to see enemies like animals or natives. So right now, I think the world looks maybe a little quiet at the moment. We do just have these little crab critters, which you actually need to go and get killed to get some crab meat so that you can sustain yourself early on. There are enemies in the game. There are actually a decent number and some like different things you can run into in the ocean that we haven't shown yet, but we might be able to run into as we head over there. Are we going in reverse?
I
Someone
think we
reversed
may have
and
hit a
hit a rock.
sandbar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who was steering, but
I did nothing wrong. And also, there's a bug right now where there's a giant plane in front of my screen.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw that earlier.
Oh, it's like steering on hard mode. So actually, even though there's the bug, Michael, you should come show the camera swinging around.
The what?
And yeah, Nick or Nico, you can build over a cliff with no foundations. So we're pulling a Minecraft.
What did you want me to do, Steph?
Go onto the steering thing,
Uh huh. Oh my
and
god.
now you can like move your camera to see a little bit
Oh
more.
yeah. Okay. Yes. So you
This
can
is very
turn.
spiked in right now, but we heard also a lot of
Yeah.
feedback on this and wanted to at least make a little version of it.
Anion, I know you in particular were like wanting to be able to move. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
We just need to fix that plane.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it clips into the back of the mesh, but we'll fix that. Okay, here, I'll let you steer. Oh.
I think the server may have crashed.
Oh no.
I think
Yeah, I
it's
was
telling
wondering. I
us
can't
it's
get off the
time to do a
station.
house tour, I think.
Oh. Oh no, no enemies or nothing. Okay, all right. You know what? Hopefully we can do these more frequently, and we don't need to pack it all into one. And also, hopefully, we can just have more people playtest over time. So, okay, let's switch back over, and I'm gonna show you the amazing creation uh, that our playtester ChuPickleChu made just a couple weeks ago. Here, I'm gonna quit out of this. Let me just pull this up. Can I just screen share my screen? That seems easier. There you go. Okay. Let's see. What about the sail? Of being able to see through the sail? Yeah, haven't gotten to that part yet. Right now, you can still just
We're
sort
going
of
to make
peek
the
around.
sail a lot cooler soon. You'll be
Yeah.
bouncing off the waves, and your sail will be catching the wind.
Oh, okay, perfect, Steph. I was going to just ask Leaks about that, but you're right. The show must go on. Okay, so to build stuff, you have to gather a lot of materials. Like the core bread and butter stuff is things like stone and wood, and pretty soon like plant fiber, and then a lot more complicated stuff like metal ingots and things that you need to refine before you can use them to make structures. But building out like that little house that Steph had made before we started throwing stuff onto there probably take a good 20-30 minutes for people who are already getting kind of familiar with the game, right? So reasonable amount of time. Over that playtest session, we started I think at like 1 p.m. on a Saturday. Let me set the stage. We started our playtest at 1 p.m. Pacific on a Saturday, and we had like a few hours where we're playing together, and we're like, hey, if people want to keep playing, go for it. That'd be great. And just stream in Discord when you do, so we can sort of like pop in and see what you're up to. And so people played some on Saturday night, people played some on Sunday morning before we had our second playtest slot, and then people were still playing Sunday night. And then, we got to I think 6 or 7 a.m. Pacific on Monday morning, and we are like, okay, we're gonna take down access like we said. And ChuPickleChu had already from the East Coast signed on and started playing. And so we're like, okay, we're not gonna boot them, right? But we let her know, hey, when you log off, you're not gonna be able to log on again. And I think she took it for as an explicit challenge, and she didn't log off until what, 2 a.m. your time, 1 a.m. your time, or something like that. 3 a.m. Oh my god. Literally played the whole day. We literally have this server chart, which is seeing the spikes of who's online, and there's just this block that is just you being on there for another 15 hours. And so I'm gonna show a couple of screenshots before I take us through this video that was a montage of what she built. Yeah, we were literally popping in at the end of the day to see what you had built. So this beautiful home that straight up reminds me of like a presidential suite in Hawaii or something like that. It's set up against this rock side with these this dock built onto the side. You can really see it sort of in the dramatic spot next to the arches. This deck that runs out around the okay, we're dating ourselves, but from someone who spends too much time on Redfin, this place is so dope. And has this beautiful sort of opening plaza with this double stairway up into the bedroom. Looking down, you can sort of see this living room and this whole area over here. And really went super far with a pretty limited set of structures, of decorations and stuff. Built this internal fireplace, and this whole in the back with all of the crazy. It almost looks like Spirited Away, sort of mountainside spa kind of setup. Made a staircase up to the waterfall, which is super not the intention with that building piece. And this little patio up top straight up has a view out into the water, and you can actually see the old model for the hand before we gave it its most recent touch up. And literally the onsen up at the top of it. That was really, really cool. So super beautiful. Looked awesome at night as well. Looked so cool. So here, let me pull up the video now. And hopefully this isn't too laggy, but after we look at it, I'll also just upload it into the channel. The frame rate was a little lower, just FYI. So if you're seeing it like run at like 20 FPS, that is just the video. But yeah, you can see running through the deck and like entering from the deck into this, like made this beautiful sort of like California king-sized bed. Ton of decor went into this. Really showcasing how a bunch of these things can fit together, because there's a lot of like very careful, like this raised floor in this workshop. Literally some of these, like you can see the walls kind of like tearing into each other because it's actually overlapping walls to get that effect. Used a lot of this decorations to the max. And when you run under the house, this is one of the coolest things. There's straight up like this underground hangout area with like this fire pit in the underside basement of the house, with its own like access to the pools underneath and like a stovetop in the back there, which is so cool. Role playing, I see like a loot drop off area with this whole pile of loot, and then even like a front fire pit area out by the lighthouse. Awesome, super cool. Our team was like freaking out when we saw what you built, and we were all just sort of like literally in meetings glancing over at like you still in that Discord streaming, and we're like, oh my god, she's still going. It was legit so cool. So yeah, thank you for playtesting and thank you for building that. And it was really awesome just to see you get hands on with like actually running with this thing that we're working on that, you know, we still feel like has so much to add to it, and seeing you make something so cool was awesome. So thank you. Yeah, I that's really the stuff I wanted to share. We'll when we have our next playtest, we're gonna need you to outdo yourself. So the gauntlet is thrown. I'm just letting you know. Um, but yeah, so that's really like a lot of the stuff we wanted to share. There's a lot more game to check out, and if you guys enjoyed this, then you know, super happy to do more of it and scale it up and sort of make it a recurring thing. But really just wanted to sort of try it out, and you know, not let making something perfect get in the way of just showing up and just sort of sharing what we're working on and getting to know folks better. While we have some time left, do people have any like questions they want to ask us about the game? What Treehouse is about? Anything like that. Super happy to just chat, and anything that's sort of a big question, I can also take a note down on, and that might be like great for future videos or future streams. Are we hiring? Unfortunately, not at the moment. We are like a lot of other startups in the, okay, we got to buckle down and just make this thing before we run out of money zone. Good news is we have the resources to bring the game to early access without extra like funding or anything, which honestly is super fortunate because that's not every studio right now. I think it's actually kind of a hard time for the games industry right now. So it's a huge perk to be able to be like, cool, we have a game plan, we have enough money to do it, we have the people to build it. Is it going to be hard? Oh yeah, but you know, it's within our powers, right? A lot of other stuff to figure out though, like making it fun enough, and is this actually cool enough to hook people? And playtesting is honestly a really big part of that. Do we have a playtest schedule? Great question. The answer is not yet, but our intention is to get into much more regular playtesting that is also less facilitated. So less like sitting with the group and being like, hey, here's the really specific stuff you got to do, and more just like, hey, here's the latest build. Send us your feedback, right? Like submit bugs and fill out the survey and give us your thoughts. Because already with 30 people, we're like, whoa, this is starting to be so much feedback that it's hard to process. And so we really want to try and open it up it'll also make it a lot easier for people who are not just in the US or just in like North America time zones to be able to playtest, which we really want. And for people to be able to like playtest when it's more convenient to them. Um, is it okay to share more pictures slash the wall? Oh yeah. Go for it. Yeah, we're still figuring out exactly like how much to share, but I hope the intent is coming through of just being like, look, we really want to expose stuff and hear what you think and figure out like what we can improve. So yeah, showing the game here is also just being like, cool, like we assume the stuff that we share here is going to get shared more broadly. This is just a little middle step while we're figuring out how streaming works before we're like on YouTube or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll take that question from Grace. A lot of big hurdles that we're moving towards. One of the biggest is we're trying to get the game ready for a public Steam demo in the fall, and so we're really having to make sure that what we have is ready for a bunch of new people to come into. We're kind of figuring out how to ship as a team. We have some big changes that we're hoping to make to the game in the relatively near future that you'll definitely see in upcoming playtests. And we're actually kind of centering those around what we believe to be two of our big differentiators, kind of why our game is going to be different than other survival crafting games that you might have played. One of those is magical spirits. People who were in the playtest probably saw the cute little static spirits that you couldn't do a lot with in the last playtest. But we're really going to be kind of expanding that. And so now you're going to be finding them in all corners of our world. We actually have one of our level designers, Mina, in the chat right now, who will be hiding those in places for you to explore. And then by rescuing them from the evil creatures of the deep, you'll be able to bring them back home and they'll help you out and they'll empower you and they'll be helping you farm and grow things. And so that's a really a big focus of this milestone that we're kind of going into next. The next big thing is really amping up the seafaring fantasy of our game. Right now, our boat is a little boring. Like there are things to find and adventures to be had, but we really want you to have to be able to harness the power of the wind and feel like you're on the open ocean and dive beneath the surface and find both peril and treasure. And so we're doing a lot of things that I really hope are going to help really reinforce how our game is different than a lot of other survival crafting games you might play. Continue amping up kind of the bright, like magical ocean setting. Any other big hurdles, Michael?
I mean, that's plenty right there.
Got our work cut out for us, I think.
Lunaria, in terms of fan art, we would love fan art. Actually, the first ever piece of fan art we ever got was something that actually I think I saw their name in our Discord. Oh, we posted this on Twitter. They were fine with it then. She drew a sheep shark, which was like this concept we had, and we literally had it framed in our office, and turned them into plushies that we gave to the team. And when I get a hold of Markfish, I need to mail them one. So yeah, hell yeah, we would love fan art. Like literally, it's like, man, going from like working in docks in a cave on this game to finally being able to share stuff is kind of the dream as a game developer. So if you actually want to make fan art for it, that's like literally just inject that right into our veins, you know? um Steph, Ryan, you guys want some of the other inspirations that we pull from?
Oh, for the game?
Yeah.
Well, we have a ton. I mean, we should get Mitch in here, our art director, and kind of one of the key members of our thematic team. But we're definitely influenced by a lot of kind of like bright and stylized games. When we're talking about the art direction of our game, you can see a lot of inspiration from Fortnite, from Grounded, from Kena, Bridge of Spirits, a lot of those types of things. For the setting, you can probably see a lot of similarities with some properties such as like Moana. We took some early inspiration from Windbound. Other ones where you're on the seas, but it's not just kind of like pirates with scurvy. One of our early kind of thematic design pillars was cooler than pirates. We like pirates, but we're really trying to do something different and a little bit more aspirational. And then in terms of inspiration for the game, like it's itself, we're some of the greats, the Valheims, the Enshroudeds, the Pow Worlds. I'm a huge fan of Conan Exiles. It's my favorite survival crafting game, so you definitely will see a lot of that. So
Raft
we're
for
really
sure.
drawing from, yeah, a lot of different sources. But I'd love to get Mitch on here sometime soon to kind of talk about some of his inspiration. He's our art director on the game.
That'd be a fun topic. Here, I'm gonna take that note down. That would be a fun topic. Um,
Oh, that's a good question, Anyon. If we could pick one feature of the game to be finished for the fall, what would it be? Hmm.
oh my god.
I've had quests on the brain recently. We're not doing crazy elaborate quests, but I really in the playtests I saw that it would have been really nice to have just kind of a trickle of objectives to kind of help you learn the game and know what you should be doing next. And so we're going to do something pretty simple there. That's what we're targeting right now. But I really want to help players understand what they should be doing in the game and what they might want to do next. And I hope that'll help them onboard to the demo in the fall. What about you, Michael and Steph?
I would probably pick the boat. Just because I just love the sailing on the ocean, and I feel like it's like, pretty unique to our game. And also, I feel like, I don't know, I love like kind of co-op mechanics like that. Um, so I'm really excited to see like what the finished version of the boat looks like, and also hopefully someday we'll be able to put cute stuff on it, like a masthead that looks like a giant cat or something. So I'd be really excited about a potential future for that.
Mine's similar, underwater stuff. Just because like the the actual like going out and exploring has felt like such a consistent high moment for people playtesting. Like, I literally spent hours and hours editing all the people's playtest footage, and like, sailing on the ship is like kind of simple right now, but there's still been these like consistent high moments of being out there on the sail, crashing the boat. Like I shared Cheery included in there of just like immediately face planting and destroying the boat is just like exactly the kind of shenanigans that I want to people to have in this game. And then once you're out there and actually exploring, I think there's so many things that you're like sort of want to do. Like, what's that island over there? What's under the water over there? And like being able to nail more of that feeling would be so cool.
Great question.
Ryan, I know you got to run. And I think we're kind of at this sort of timing that we had sort of set. But yeah, like, thanks everyone for showing up to this first stream. We had some crashes as I promised. A lot of stream setup things that we're learning for the first time. But if people are into this and like found this a useful way to like chat and hear more about the game and you're interested in seeing more of that, then I think we'd love to do more of it, because certainly it's been super fun for us, and it's nice having another tool in the tool belt as a way of just being like, hey, this is like what's going into the game, without me trying to like edit video or set up a playtest, which takes a lot of advanced notice. But yeah, like in like a Voyagers discussion, please like let me know if there are other topics you want to hear about. If you had any thoughts or feedback, positive or negative, totally chill about the stream. Would love to like get notes, because like I'm deep in learning zone for how to make these like the most exciting they could be, and also just like for us to be able to like show you something and be like, yo, what do you think? So yeah, would love your guys' thoughts and feedback. But yeah, thanks guys. Really appreciate you guys coming out and joining the first stream.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Also, Michael, thanks for letting me come onto the stage. I mostly did it as a test. I was like, wait, I can hit this button? Am I supposed to be able to hit this button?
Sorry to tell you, you're content now.
Damn. So Destiny, I've always been
in your heart of hearts,
towards...
you've always been content?
Yep. I think so.
Nico, totally down. But if you actually have like a meaty question, I would love to know, because I know broadly I'm like gonna be hitting up folks on the team to be like, hey, like, in the next stream, can we like talk about the art direction or whatever and like plan out some content? there's gonna be a lot of stuff that comes up where I'm just gonna be like, oh, that's so much better as like a focus for one of these. So any advanced heads up is just gonna help me sort of like feed stuff into the hopper. Yeah, that's a great point too. Like, who knows who else has the same question? Cool. All right, I'm gonna stop talking in your ear, guys. Thanks again. Night.